Good afternoon and welcome to today's coaching call. So today we're going to quickly talk about habits, how to use them, why they're good for you, and how to get started now and how to choose which ones you should start implementing now versus ones that you can look at later. And then I'll open up the floor to any questions if there's anyone online that wants to ask anything. Haven't really had any other questions so far in the Facebook group or via chat. All right, so talking about habits, why should you use them? Habits are really great to get past the potential issue of motivation. So taking a side step to talk about motivation. So there's been a lot of research into motivation, how to get people moving, what's the best thing for them. Motivation with anything, just doing things. A lot of the times we know what we should be doing, but actually doing the behavior or the action is a totally different thing. So it might be, you need to exercise, but you don't know where to start, you don't know how to do it. You're worried that you might hurt something, overexert yourself and do more damage to your heart, for example. Or it might be that, you should be eating 2 fruit and 5 veg, but how do you do that in a day when you're always on the run? There's the snack food tends to be cheaper, depending on how you plan. And I will touch on that in a moment as well. So there's lots of things that we know we should be doing, but we don't necessarily do. There are some things that we're really good at doing because we do them out of habit. It's drilled into us. So one good example is wearing seatbelts. Yes, they save lives. We all do it now. It may not have been so common previously when not all cars are mandated to have seatbelts. But we all know we need to wear a seatbelt. And as soon as we sit in the car, we put our seatbelt on. That's just what we do before we take off. We make sure that everyone else as a passenger in our car, kids, friends, family, they're all wearing a seatbelt before we go on. We know that we do that, and it's not always a conscious decision. We don't have to think about it. We just know that when we get in the car and we're driving, we have to have our seatbelt on. So it's things like that. It could be remembering to brush your teeth after meals or flossing your teeth once a day, putting sunscreen on before you go outside. So there's lots of different habits that we can look at that will improve our health now and over time. But motivation to do some of these things is, or maybe lacking, for lack of a better terminology. So there's different types of motivation. So we've got the carrot stick motivation, which is, so if we look at carrot, so we do something because there's a reward at the end. Or if we're talking about the stick, we're doing something to avoid pain. So we're working towards pleasure away from pain. And if we make certain associations, so some people might associate pain with exercise, whether it's from a previous injury, they've had bad experiences, or they just don't like it. And then it becomes really demotivating to try and exercise because you've got that negative association, or it takes more effort than it does to sit on the couch and eat a bag of chips. So that's the first type of motivation. It worked really well in the industrial era. So when we look at, factories and most jobs or careers, if we look at, so if you do well, you get a bonus. And if you don't do well or you arrive late, you get a penalty. Simplest way to put it. So people's behaviours were controlled based on whether they were getting something good for doing good work, or whether they were being penalised for something. They didn't meet quota, and so they don't get their bonus, for example. The next level of motivation is a little more next level down, lost it. So I missed the level. So first level of motivation is survival. So we need food, water, shelter to survive. That's first level of motivation. We need all our basic needs. Second level is the carrot and stick type of motivation. The next level of motivation that they've done a lot more research into recently is looking at different, so you might have heard of internal versus external motivation. So external motivation is that carrot and stick. If I do good, I get something good in return, or something good happens. If I do bad, I get something taken away, or there's pain involved. If we look at internal motivation, it's I'm doing it because I want to, whether you're working towards, so there's 3 different motivating factors within this 3rd level. So we've got purpose, autonomy, and mastery. So purpose, you need to have a higher purpose for doing something. It can't just be, I'm doing it to look good now. Or, so for example, one of my big goals in life is I want to live to 100. Yes, I want to go to triple digits. And I've met a couple of people that have said the same thing, and it gets me really excited when they do. And I think it's great. I'm going to live to 100. So I've got at least another 70 years that I need to, and it's not just, I don't want to make it to 100 and be decrepit. I want to be, functional, enjoying life, getting out and doing things. So everything that I do now is working towards that higher purpose. I want to be around. I want to contribute to society and have a family, watch them grow up, participate in their lives actively. And so that's a higher purpose that I'm working towards. And so that's my reason for exercising, is that big long-term purpose or goal. Autonomy. So the second part is autonomy. You need to have choice over what you do. So someone just saying, do this, 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 and this, after a while, you're going to go, I don't like this anymore. I need to stop. You get some people that just from the outset, just the point that someone's saying, you have to do this, and they go, no, because you told me to, and I don't agree with it. So there's different types of autonomy. So autonomy over time. So when you do something, or what period of time, do you want to do it for 10 minutes or an hour? I'm going to constantly refer back to exercise because it's probably the easiest thing for me to think about, but I will touch on other aspects as well. So time, task, so how you do it. Exercise, do you want to be in a gym? Would you rather go out for a swim or a walk in the fresh air? Do you want to go for a bush hike? Do you want to participate in group activities, so lawn bowls, cricket, football, or anything like that? It can be any sort of range. So time, task, team, so who you do it with. Do you want to do it alone, or do you want to do it with others? Do you want to work one-on-one, or would you rather be in a group setting? So all of those things, yes, you get to choose. Time, task, team. And so autonomy. So you need to choose what you like. And if you don't like something, change it. So for example, my overall purpose is to live to 100 and be functional and active. And so, that's 70 years of being active. And if we're looking at the guideline, that's at least 150 minutes per week. So at the moment, I like walking. At the moment, I can't run, even though I do enjoy it, because I have a long-term foot injury. That's taken a long time to heal. So can't run at the moment, but hopefully down the track, when that eventually resolves, I'll be able to go back to it. And then, so it might be, I like doing triathlons now. Might be I prefer to do swimming later or do group sports, but I've got 70 years basically to think about. So you can try different things. Even if you don't have 70 years, try different things. If you try something and go, no, that's not for me, then try something else. There is nothing wrong with that. Try lots of different things, get lots of experiences. You can meet different people, learn new things. And that brings us to the next part of the 3rd level, which is mastery. So mastery is this really weird concept where we're always working towards getting better at something, but we never actually get the best, and there's always something to learn. So even, for example, a black belt martial artist won't stop practicing because they're like, I know everything. That's it. No, they keep practicing, or they try new ways of moving. They might learn new techniques and moves, and it's same with everything. You might have really good balance, for example, or maybe not. There are always new things. I don't care what age you are. There is always something new you can learn. You can build up strength, yes, or we can, increase the complexity of a strength exercise. So let's say, for example, you're doing bicep curls, so holding a weight, arms straight, arms bend, straight, bend. You can keep increasing the weight, which will increase the strength of your muscles, or we can make it a bit more complex. So we might add a push at the top, so curl to the top and then push, down, straighten, curl, push, down, straighten. Or we might stick with the bicep curls, but maybe you'll sit on a fit ball, so one of the gym balls, or you might stand on one foot, so you're challenging your balance at the same time or have as working the muscle. And this has a benefit not just at the muscle level, also the active muscle that you're working. So the biceps, for example, in the bicep curl, but you're working on your balance, which means you get more bang for your buck if you're trying to do, if you're like me and trying to get your workout done as quick as possible so you can get on with the rest of your day. You get more bang for your buck. You're training your brain to do two things at once. So you're trying to keep yourself balanced while at the same time you're trying to lift the weight. Or you might add movement to it. So you might do heel-toe walking while you're doing the bicep curl, or you might stand on a wobble board or a Bosu ball, so it's a little less stable. There's lots of different things. There's lots of ways that you can increase the difficulty of an exercise without actually lifting more weights. So if you get to a certain strength level that you think, no, this is comfortable, I can do everything that I need or want to do in my daily life, and so I don't need to get stronger, but I'm kind of bored of doing the same thing at the same time. So we can switch up exercise that way, or you can do a completely different exercise and try something different that works similar muscle groups or not. So there's lots of options for mastery. So progressing and working towards getting better at things and then trying something different. Or you might, spend a few months or a year or a couple of years and you play basketball, for example. And then after a while, I think, I want to try something different. Let's try cricket or football or lawn balls or badminton, squash. So there's any number of things that you can try for as long or as little as you want to. So that's motivation in a nutshell. So where habits come in, just to swing back to that, habits kind of circumvent or go around this idea of motivation. So making things automatic rather than thinking about it. So you can intertwine the two. If you think of, so I have a morning routine where every morning my alarm goes off, my dogs get up, so I put them out to the toilet, I go to the toilet, we get dressed and we go out the door and we walk. Doesn't matter what the weather is outside, within reason. So we still go out when it's raining. My dogs don't care about it and I can have a shower when I come home. But that's our morning routine, and we do the same thing every morning. Alarm goes off, we get up, we go out for a walk. So it doesn't mean that I get up and go, should I walk? Shouldn't I walk? Or it's looking a little cloudy outside, or it's a little bit too cold or too hot or whatever it is. If that's the routine, you just get up, go and do it. So I'm what we call habit stacking. I've stacked the walking habit to the alarm. So the alarm goes off every morning, apart from weekends, but I get up and I go for a walk, and that's just what we do. You might, if we're looking at walking, you might habit stack that with a lunch break. So you have your lunch, you go for a walk around wherever you are, or you might do it after dinner and go for a walk. Then when it's a bit cooler at night, you can habit stack on other things that you do every day. So hopefully you brush your teeth every day. So you might habit stack in that when you're brushing your teeth, you do calf raises where you raise up onto your toes and down, or you might hold a balance and stand on one leg while brushing your teeth or afterwards. Or maybe you brush your teeth and do 10 push-ups. So there's so many different ways that you can build habits and activity into your lifestyle to a point where you don't have to think about it, you just do it. And that's really great if you're coming from a level of not doing anything or doing very little and you're starting to try and put things in. You have a very busy schedule. Just put in little movement snacks here and there. You might do 10 push-ups in the morning, 10 squats at lunch, and 10 crunches after dinner, for example. As you can see, making this up on the fly. Other habits, so something I started recently was journaling at night before I go to bed. So again, habit stacking. before I sit in bed, I do my writing and my journaling. I'll write 5 things or people that I'm grateful for the day, close the book, close the journal, lie down with my book, read my book, and then go to sleep. So that's another way that you can habit stack something that isn't exercise. The other thing that we do is that every week before we go shopping, we write out our menu for the week. So all the dinners we're going to do. So for the most part, my breakfasts and snacks for the day, particularly my work day, will be the same, or within reason. There will be, you know, they might have a couple of choices. So I might for breakfast have 2 slices of toast and a banana, or I might have yogurt and muesli and a banana. And so I know that that's a stable part. And so for us, it's just coming up with those dinner meals. And I always make sure that I get enough so that I can reheat for lunch the next day, because I hate trying to make more than I need to. So making the meal plan for the week and saying these are the dinners we're having, then writing a list of all the ingredients we need, and then going shopping for that. So that's a weekly routine we have. So you can have a daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine, fortnightly, however you want to run it. But that's something that we do. And then when planning the meals, if you try to plan meals that use some of the same ingredients, it means you don't have a lot of food waste afterwards at the end as well. Yeah. Cool. So giving you guys some ideas for habits, how to habit stack, and that's probably the easiest way to do it. Once it's automatic, you don't have to think about it. Another thing that I've used a lot with patients and clients is coming up with a short exercise routine that they can do every day. And it might be, you know, starting off with, okay, go for a walk or do a bike ride, whatever they have, for at least 5 to 10 minutes to warm up, longer if that's going to be your cardio type workout. And then you come home and you do 3 to 4 to start off with strength or balance exercises. So 10 of each. Nice, and it takes a couple of minutes to do them all. You don't have to have equipment if you don't have any at home or you don't want to buy any. Alternatively, if you do, we can throw that in there as well. And then we get you back in, say, 4 to 6 weeks, see how things are going, making sure that you're actually sticking to doing that on a daily basis, troubleshoot any speed bumps. So maybe you fell and had an injury, or things got really busy, or you went away on holiday. And so we can chat about, okay, well, what do we do in those circumstances? Do we stop completely, or do we change what we're doing, or do we scale it back? So if you're on holiday for a week, normally it's just like, if you want to keep doing it, you can. If not, that's fine. A week off isn't going to be a big issue. But if you're going on a longer holiday, like 4, 6, 8 week holiday or a few months, then it's like, okay, we need to make sure that whatever exercise program you're doing, you can do there as well, because you do want to keep that consistency, because otherwise you will decondition and you will lose a lot of that benefit that you built up to beforehand. Lots of different ways that you can do your exercises wherever you are. Doesn't have to be overly onerous or stressful or hard. Consistency is the key, and that's where the habits come in, is making you or encouraging you to be more consistent with what you do. It doesn't have to be a lot, and doesn't have to feel hard, but you will feel the benefits if you do stick to it consistently. And then if after, 3-6 months you're just bored of the exercises, they're all really easy, and you want something different, then that's fine. We can change all or some of the exercises so that you're still doing the same habit of getting up, going for a walk, doing your exercises. It's just the exercises themselves might change a bit. Or you might have a new diagnosis of osteoporosis, for example. So we need to put in more impact and bone loading exercises to try and build up that bone density to reduce your risk of fracture. Might include some balance tasks to reduce your risk of falls. And so things might change that way. But there's so much that we can do with it. And it doesn't have to be hard. Keep it easy, keep it simple. And if you're new to it or you have a really busy schedule, make a routine of it and just stick to it and be consistent. If you find that you try habit stacking, for example, in the morning and it's just not working for you, you're too rushed, you're trying to get the kids out to school and you don't want to get up even earlier than you already are, then maybe it's better to habit stack it towards the end of the day or spread it out throughout the day. So you might do 2 exercises in the morning, 1 at lunch and 2 after dinner or before dinner or while you're cooking dinner. So lots of different options and different things that you can try. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, yeah, that was just a short, quick one for today, and hopefully you found it useful.